Bharadvaja. Vasishtha Indra Pramadaha Trito Gratsamado Sitaha Kakshivan Gautamo Trischa Kashiko Sudarshan. Synonyms: Parvataha, Parvatamuni, Naradaha, Nardamuni, Dhaumya, Dhaumya, Bhagavan, incarnation of Godhead, Badarayanaha, Vyasadeva, Bhradashvaha, Bhradashva, Bharadvajaha, Bharadvaja, Sashishyaha, along with disciples, Renuka Sutaha, Parshurama, Vasishthaha, Vasishtha, Indra Pramadaha, Indra Pramada, Tritaha, Trita, Gritsamadaha, Gritsamada, Asitaha, Asita, Kakshivan, Kakshivan, Gautamaha, Gautama, Atrihi, Atri, Kaushikaha, Kaushika, Atha, now, Sudarshanaha, Sudarshana. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Abhay Charana Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. All the sages like Parvatamuni, Narada, Dhaumya, Vyasa, the incarnation of God, Bharadvaja and Parshurama and disciples, Vasishtha, Indra Pramada, Trita, Gritsamada, Asita, Kakshivan, Gautama, Atri, Kaushika, Sudarshana were present. Translation with repetition. All the sages like Parvatamuni, Narada, Dhaumya, Vyasa, the incarnation of God, Bharadvaja and Parshurama and disciples, Vasishtha, Indra Pramada, Trita, Gritsamada, Asita, Kakshivan, Gautama, Atri, Kaushika and Sudarshana were present. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Abhay Charana Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Purport. So this purport is almost 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. So I'll be a little quick, so be attentive. Purport. Parvatamuni. Parvatamuni is considered to be one of the oldest sages. He is almost always a constant companion of Narada Muni. There are also spacemen competent to travel in the air without help of any material vehicle. Parvatamuni is also a Devarshi, or a great sage amongst the demigods, like Narada. He was present along with Narada at the sacrificial ceremony of Maharaja Janmejaya, the son of Maharaj Parikshit. In this sacrifice, all the snakes of the world were to be killed. Parvatamuni and Narada Muni are called Gandharvas also because they can travel in the air singing the glories of the Lord. As they can travel in the air, they observed the Swayamvara ceremony, selecting her own husband of Draupadi from the air. Like Narada Muni, Parvatamuni also used to visit the royal assembly in the heaven of King Indra. As a Gandharva, sometimes he visited the royal assembly of Kuvera, one of the important demigods. Both Narada and Parvata were once in trouble with the daughter of Maharaja Sanjaya. Maharaja Sanyaya got the benediction of son by Parvatamuni. Narada Muni. Narada Muni is inevitably associated with the incarnation of the Puranas. He is described in the Bhagavatam. In his previous life, he was the son of a maid servant, but by good association of pure devotees, he became enlightened in devotional service. And in next life, he became a perfect man comparable with himself only. In the Mahabharata, his name is mentioned in many places. He is the principal Devarshi or the chief sage among the demigods. He is a son and disciple of Brahmaji, and from him, the disciplic succession in the line of Brahma has been spread. He initiated Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, and many celebrated devotees of the Lord. He initiated even Vyasadeva, the author of the Vedic literatures, and from Vyasadeva, Madhvacharya was initiated, and thus the Madhva Sampradaya, in which the Gaudiya Sampradaya is also included. has spread all over the universe. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu belonging to this Madhva Sampradaya. Therefore, Brahmaji, Narada, Vyasa, down to Madhva, Chaitanya and the Goswamis all belong to the same line of disciplic succession. Narada ji has instructed many kings from time immemorial. In the Bhagavatam, we can see that he instructed Prahlad Maharaja while he was in the womb of his mother, and he instructed Vasudeva, the father of Krishna, as well as Maharaj Yudhishthira. Dhaumya, a great sage who practiced severe penances at Utkochak Tirtha and was appointed royal priest of the Pandava kings. He acted as a priest in many religious functions of the Pandavas' samskaras, but also each of the Pandavas was attended by him at the betrothal of Draupadi. He was present even during the exile of the Pandavas and used to advise them in circumstances when they were perplexed. He instructed them how to live incognito for 1 year, and his instructions were strictly followed by the Pandavas during that time. His name is mentioned also when the general funeral ceremony was performed after the battle of Kurukshetra. In the Anushasana Parva of Mahabharata, he gave religious instructions very elaborately to Maharaj Yudhishthira. He was actually the right type of priest of a householder, for he could guide the Pandavas on the right path of religion. A priest is meant for guiding the householder progressively in the right path of ashrama dharma, or the occupational duty of a particular caste. There is particularly no difference between the family priest and the spiritual master. The sages, saints, and the brahmanas were especially meant for such functions. Badarayana Vyasadeva, he is known as Krishna, Dvaipayana, Satyavati Sutta, Parasharya, Parasharatmaja, Badarayana, Vedavyasa, etc. He was the son of Mahamani Parashara in the womb of Satyavati, prior to her betrothal with Maharaj Shantanu, the father of the great general Bhishmadeva. He is powerful incarnation of Narayana, and he broadcasts the Vedic wisdom to the world. As such, Vyasadeva is offered respects before chanting the Vedic literature, especially the Puranas. Sukadeva Goswami was his son, and rishis like Vaishnavan, etc., and were his disciples for different branches of the Vedas. He is author of the great epic Mahabharata and the great transcendental literature Bhagavatam. The Brahma Sutras or the Vedanta Sutras or Badarayana Sutras are compiled by him. Among sages, he is the most respected author by dint of severe penances. When he wanted to record the great epic Mahabharata for the welfare of all people in the age of Kali, he was feeling the necessity of a powerful writer who could take up his dictations. By the order of Brahmaji, Sri Ganeshji took up the charge of noting down the dictation on the condition that Vyasadeva would not stop dictating for a moment. The Mahabharata was thus compiled by the joint endeavor of Vyasa and Ganesh. By the order of his mother Satyavati, who was later married to Maharaj Shantanu, and by request of Bhishmadeva, the eldest son of Maharaj Shantanu, by his first wife, the Ganges, he begot 3 brilliant sons, whose names are Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura. The Mahabharata was compiled by Vyasadeva after the battle of Kurukshetra and after the death of all the heroes of Mahabharata. It was first spoken in the royal assembly of Maharaj Janmejaya, the son of Maharaj Parikshit. Brihadashva, an ancient sage who used to meet Maharaj Yudhishthira now and then. First of all, he met Maharaj Yudhishthira at Kamyavana. This sage narrated the history of Maharaj Nala. There is another Brihadashva who is a son of Ikshvaku dynasty. Bharadwaja is one of the 7 rishis, great rishis, and was present at the time of the birth ceremony of Arjuna. The powerful rishi sometimes undertook severe penances and on the shore of Ganges, and his ashrama is still celebrated as Prayagadhama. It is learned that this sage, while taking bath in the Ganges, happened to meet Gritachi, one of the beautiful society girls of heaven, and thus he discharged semina, which was kept and preserved in the earthen pot, and from which Drona was born. So Dronacharya is the son of Bharadwaja Muni. Others say that Bharadwaja, the son of Drona, is a different person from the Maharshi Bharadwaja. He was a great devotee of Brahma. Once he approached Dronacharya and requested him to stop the battle of Kurukshetra. Parashurama or Renukasuta. Parashurama is the son of Maharshi Jamadagni and Srimati Renuka. Thus, he is also known as Renukasuta. He is one of the powerful incarnations of God, and he killed the Kshatriya community as a whole 21 times. With the blood of the Kshatriyas, he pleased the souls of his forefathers. Later on, he underwent severe penances at the Mahendra Parvata. After taking the whole earth from the Kshatriyas, he gave it in charity to Kashyapa Muni. Parashurama instructed the Dhanurveda, or the science of fighting, to Dronacharya because he happened to be a Brahmana. He was present during the coronation of Maharaj Yudhishthira, and he celebrated the function along with other great sages. Parashurama is so old that he met both Rama and Krishna at different times. He fought with Rama, but he accepted Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. He also praised Arjuna when he saw him with Krishna. When Bhishma refused to marry Amba, who wanted him to become her husband, Amba met Parashurama, and by her request only he asked Bhishma Deva to accept her as his wife. Bhishma refused to obey his order, although he was one of the spiritual master of Bhishma Deva. He fought with Bhishma Deva when he neglected his warning. Both of them fought very severely, and at last Parashurama was pleased with Bhishma and gave him the benediction of becoming the greatest fighter in the world. Vasishtha. Vasishtha is a great celebrated sage amongst the Brahmanas, well known as the Brahmarshi Vasishtha Deva. He is a prominent figure both in the Ramayana and Mahabharata periods. He celebrated the coronation ceremony of the personality of Goddess Sri Rama. He was present also on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He could approach all the higher and lower planets, and his name is also connected with the history of Hiranyakashipu. There was a great tension between him and Vasishtha Vishwamitra, who wanted his Kamadhenu. Vasishtha Muni refused to spare his Kamadhenu, and for this Vishwamitra killed his 100 sons. As a perfect Brahmana, he tolerated all the taunts of Vishwamitra. Once he tried to commit suicide on account of Vishwamitra's torture, but all his attempts were unsuccessful. He jumped from a hill, but the stones on which he fell became a stack of cotton, and thus he was saved. He jumped into the ocean, but the waves washed him ashore. He jumped into the river, but the rivers also washed him ashore. Thus all his suicide attempts was unsuccessful. He is also one of the 7 rishis and husband of Arundhati, the famous star. Indrapramada, another celebrated rishi. Trita, one of the 3 sons of Prajapati Gautama. He was a third son, and his other 2 brothers were known as Ekat and Dvita. All the brothers were great sages and strict followers of the principles of religion. By dint of severe penance, they were promoted to Brahmaloka, the planet where Brahmaji lived. Once Trita Muni fell in a well. He was an organizing worker of many sacrifices, and as one of the great sages, he also came to show respect to Bhishmaji at his deathbed. He was one of the 7 sages in the Varunaloka. He hailed from the western countries of the world. As such, most probably he belongs to the European countries. At that time, the whole world was under one Vedic culture. Gritsamada, one of the sages of the heavenly kingdom, he was a close friend of Indra, the king of heaven, and was great as Brahaspati. He used to visit the royal assembly of Maharaja Yudhishthira, and he also visited the place where Bhishma Deva breathed his last. Sometimes he explained the glories of Lord Shiva before Maharaj Yudhishthira. He was a son of Vitahavya, and he resembled in features the body of Indra. Sometimes the enemies of Indra mistook him to be Indra and arrested him. He was a great scholar of Rig Veda, and thus he was highly respected by Brahmana community. He lived a life of celibacy and was powerful in every respect. Asita. There was a king of the same name, but herein the Asita mentioned is the Asita Devala Rishi, a great powerful sage of the time. He explained to his father 15 lakh verses from the Mahabharata. He was one of the members in the snake sacrifice of Maharaj Janmejaya. He was also present during the coronation ceremony of Maharaj Yudhishthira along with other great sages. He also gave Maharaja Yudhishthira instructions while he was on the Anjana hill. He is also one of the devotees of Lord Shiva. Kakshivan, one of the sons of Gautama Muni and the father of the great sage Chandakaushika. He was one of the members of parliament of Maharaj Yudhishthira. Atri Muni was a great Brahmana sage and was one of the mental sons of Brahmaji. Brahmaji is so powerful that simply by thinking of a son, he can have it. These sons are known as Manasaputras. Out of 7 Manasaputras of Brahmaji and out of the 7 great Brahmana sages, Atri was one. In his family, the great Prachetas were also born. Atri Muni had 2 Kshatriya sons who became kings. King Arthama is one of them. He is counted as one of the 21 Prajapatis. His wife's name was Anusuya, and he helped Maharaja Parishita in the great sacrifice. Kaushika, one of the permanent rishis members in the royal assembly of Maharaja Yudhishthira. He sometimes met Lord Krishna. There are several other sages of the same name. Sudarshana, this wheel which is accepted by the personality of Godhead Vishnu or Krishna as his personal weapon, is the most powerful weapon, greater than the Brahmastra or similar other disastrous weapons. In some of the Vedic literatures, it is said that Agnideva, the fire god, presented this weapon to Lord Sri Krishna. But factually, this weapon is eternally carried by Lord. Agnideva presented this weapon to Krishna in the same way that Rukmini was given by Maharaj Rukma to the Lord. The Lord accepted such presentations from his devotees, even though such presentations are eternally his property. There is an elaborate description of this weapon in the Adi Parva of Mahabharata. Lord Krishna used this weapon to kill Shishupala, a rival of Lord. He also killed Shalva by this weapon, and sometimes he wanted his friend Arjuna to use it to kill his enemies. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanachalakaya Chakshurunmaritanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yam pravajantam manupetam apeta krityam dvaipayano viraha katarahu java putreti tanmayataya taravo binedus tam sarvabhutam mrudim munimanatosmi. Yachukila chusacharadmayekam madhyadvidiyam adititi shatam tamondam samsarinam karunayaha puranagukyam tam vyasonam upayami guru muninam. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So it's a wonderful the sloka, the two verses from Canto 1, Chapter 9, the chapter entitled The Passing of Bhishma Deva in the Presence of Lord Krishna. So this is text 6 and 7. So wherein Bhishma Deva is welcoming assembled sages who had come to meet Bhishma Deva at his deathbed. So in this purport, we went through so many personalities. Within a short time, we got to know the great achievements and activities of devotees, pure devotees of Krishna. So reason for me reading this, generally they break this half, and 2 devotees over 2 days or 2 periods, they would take the sessions. Because every word is written by Srila Prabhupada, so I thought I'd just finish the whole purport. So, this is a very interesting and very important incident where Bhishma Deva is about to depart from this material world. And Bhishma Deva lived for around 450 or plus years. And he was the only one who had seen the 4 generations in Mahabharata. And he was such a great celibate, and also he had Ichcha Mrityu. So, now, ultimately, he is lying on the bed of arrows. What wonderful awaited moment here is, Lord Krishna himself appears in front of him. So, this verse says that there are some incredible advanced devotees who are also assembled along with Krishna, like Saptarishi, Atri, Bhrigu, Vasishtascha, Jamadagnya, Kilaha, Shishya Sahitaha. So all those Shishyas, Vasishta, Indra Pramada, and all those things, all those great devotees have assembled here. So it is very interesting to know that I was just going through, I was just searching the Veda base, that the same devotees, or a little more here and there, plus or minus, they're all attending Atri, Bhrigu, Vasishta, and all. Even Parishad Maharaj passing away, or during Krishna's disappearance, or during Janmejaya wanted to hear Bhagavatam from Jaimini Rishi. So all these great Rishis, Munis, they are time and again appearing even without personal invitation. So they used to come and attend the program. So this is very wonderful for us to see that someone can help me with this. So that this Rishi Munis, anyone know why this become. So, thank you. So, never they gave up this opportunity to attend such programs even though there was no personal information. Because death is such a thing, when there is an invitation of marriage or some function or something like that, we go through every detail in that. But in India, previously, now everything is in WhatsApp, the people used to print the death ceremony 11th day or 12th day on a black and white paper. Just a small card, postal card. If you're the old devotees, they get to know. And whenever they used to get this, especially my mother, what they used to do, there's a standard tradition. Whenever they come, they knock the door, maybe your own relatives or a little more far relatives, and they used to come outside, and they have to get to know that this is a reason. They have to come outside and receive the invitation. And keep the invitation. Then after they're going, thank you, we'll come, sorry for that, for your loss and things like that. So they used to keep invitation outside the house, near some window. And I said, why you are keeping this outside? So it's a tradition. No, it's a tradition. You have to, I should not bring the death invitation inside the house. So the paradox of our life is when a person is alive, you want to associate with him, talk with him, touch him, see him, be with him, eat with him, things like that. But when a person dies, touching him, you have to wash your hands. Seeing him, you have to take a bath. So such a thing is death. So I was just really thinking that we plan so many things ahead of our life, that 2 years down the line, 5 years down the line, how we should have our life, how we should plan our life. But even we being devotees, we never much discuss about the death. We plan for our next birthday, probably, but we not plan for when our next upcoming, the final challenge of our life, final battle of our life, the battle of death would come, and how we should be prepared enough for that. So, here, Bhagavatam is glorifying Maharaj, Bhishma, because whole Bhagavatam was meant to glorify the activities and qualities of Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. The whole chapter is meant for glorifying Bhishma. Any answer? So, you have to understand, here Bhagavatam is glorifying one of the greatest Mahajana. There are how many Mahajanas? 12 Mahajanas. Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu, Kumaro, Kapilo, Manuhu, Pralado, Janako, Bhishmo, Balir, Vayasika, Vayam. Who is Vayam? Yama Dharmaraj. So he is speaking this sloka to his assistants, Yamadutas. This comes in the Ajameda pastime, Ajameda Upakhyana. So, in the previous chapter, there is a wonderful description about Krishna's wonderful qualities. Krishnena adbhuta karmanaha. So, the most Krishna performs astonishing pastimes. His character is wonderful. The most astonishing character of Krishna is that he likes to glorify his devotees. You tell Shiva is doing that, or Skanda is doing it. Go to Skanda Purana, Shiva Purana, Devi Purana, Devi Bhagavata, and all those things. You will never find such thing. Sarva Saundarya Sangraha. Krishna is so beautiful. His enchanting beauty. But the most beautiful aspect of his beauty is that he wants to glorify his devotees. That's what Vyasadeva, who is a literary incarnation of Bhagavatam, he is completely dedicating this whole chapter for Bhishma Deva, that all great sages are coming there to have a last farewell to Bhishma Dev. So there's a lot of misconception about Bhishma. That we say that he was there with the Kauravas only because he wanted bread and butter, he had eaten salt, or he had given a vow to Satyavati. But most importantly, we have to understand that Krishna, the Bhishma Dev wanted to give pleasure to Krishna in his Virya Rasa. That's what, that is the only reason the Bhishma was there in the Kauravas army during Kurukshetra war. So there's three important reasons I was just going through. Prabhupada mentions here and there. So I got this point. So Prabhupada says that three important reasons were why Bhishma Dev was supporting Kauravas. So one is Krishna wanted to demonstrate to the people of this world that anyone against dharma cannot be victorious, however powerful they may be. So, wherein here we can see the Bhishma took decision against dharma, Bhishma took decision against Krishna. So, anyone who is against dharma, any powerful person he may be, even a very victorious person may be, but he is always a failure. He'll be defeated, he'll be destroyed. Mare Krishna, Rakeke, Krishna, Mare Krishna, Rakeke, Rake Krishna, Mareke. In simple terms. So that is one reason. And one more reason, Prabhupada says, Krishna wants to demonstrate that Krishna devotees can accept any position and perform devotional service, even at the expense of being highly misunderstood. So, this only reason was Bhishma was more concerned about what Krishna would think rather than what society would think about him. Because one of the greatest challenges in our life is sometimes because of the push and pull of expectations of the human society. So humans are sometimes affected by social approvals and disapprovals. Sometimes it becomes so painful because of some social disapproval, people also suicide. So here Bhishma Dev is teaching us a lesson that however powerful one may be, that he'll be completely destroyed if he goes against Krishna or Dharma. And the second point was that Bhishma was more concerned about what Krishna would like. Just like we can see that how Jaya Vijaya, even when Sanat Kumaras were cursed, so they chose to be taking births in 3 lifetimes as demons, even though they'll be highly misunderstood. So Krishna wanted to demonstrate that the pure devotional service is ahetuki apratihata, ye atma suprasidati. So it doesn't depend, our devotional service doesn't depend on any circumstances or the way we live in. So Bhishma was one of the Mahajanas who was in the Kaurava side, and Prahlad Maharaj was also a Mahajana who was born in Asura family. Rutrasura was a great, was exalted devotee who was born as a demon, but still all of them, they offered their devotional service to Krishna. So this is very important for us to know that, anyway, I'll tell you one story. Some of you are getting sleep. So, in our ashram, we generally, in Bangalore, we have the Sister Goshti once in a month, and during that time, we'll be having a drama. Wonderful dramas will be there. And only devotees, all brahmacharis perform that, whether woman, man, child, everything. So, once one devotee was a little plumpy, so we asked him that, Prabhuji, you become Ravan. Because in his, when I had seen him in his folk life, so he had a nice mustache and things like that. After he shaved and he joined temple. So that came in my mind. So I asked, why can't you become this Ravan? Then immediately he started saying, no, Prabhu. He started denying that, no, I can't do this. Give me some Rama's this thing or Lakshmana's this thing and all. So because why? Then I asked, and he said, no, people start commenting or criticizing, Abhi Ravana aa gaya. So I said something, they keep commenting. So much humiliation. So Bhishma here agreed to take up that all those humiliations just to satisfy Krishna because he was a trusted devotee of Krishna. Something very important in our life is what we have to become the trusted devotees of Krishna. Many times in our life, we don't like each other, even though in Krishna conscious family, or we have some differences. Yes, we should respect differences. At the same time, we should be in such a way that society is not disturbed by our differences. So pure devotee or trusted devotees of God are ready to take any social position, irrespective of any humiliation which they may undergo. So even that today he may be a president, tomorrow he may be a something else. Today he may be a temple commander, tomorrow he may be something else. Today he is a congregation devotee, tomorrow he may be something else. Tomorrow anything may happen at any point of time, but we have to learn from this Bhishma that irrespective of any circumstances in our life, the pure devotees or the trusted devotees of God never ever forget even an iota. Never forget Krishna's love. Never forget to Krishna and love to Krishna. So just imagine the Bhishma was in the bed of arrows on the war field. You have to just think about the scenario. I was just meditating. Bhishma fought for 10 days, and at the end of 10th day, he gave up his everything, the weapons. And he was defeated by Arjuna, and he was made to lie on the bed of arrows. And how many days the Mahabharata went on for? 8 more days. That's totally 18 days. So 8 more days Bhishma had to lie in that open space with scorching heat and in the cold weather, December and January is Paush Mas, Magha Mas. Very cold, no shelter, no thermals, no blanket, no woolen clothes. And practically every drop of his blood in his body was drained out. No one ever lived in that way, but he had Ichha Mrityu. That's why it shows that he lived for almost 50 plus days. He left his body in Magha Shuddha Ashtami, called as Bhishma Ashtami. It comes in Magha Mas, February. So, just we have to understand that during the Mahabharata war, this 8 days, lot of dust, dirt, hue and cry of dying soldiers, and at the end of the day, all the soldiers were gathered, all the dead soldiers were gathered, bodies of the dead soldiers were gathered at the banks of the river nearby, and they used to burn dirt and that bad smell, and so many things he has to tolerate. No food, no bathing, and no sleep. So even despite all such conditions, there was not even an iota of change in his consciousness. That the Yudhishthira Maharaj, we have understood here that Yudhishthira Maharaj was despondent, he was dissatisfied after winning the Mahabharata war. And even despite Krishna giving him all the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita as he gave to Arjuna, but still he was not satisfied. So basically Krishna wanted to plan this whole event that to glorify Bhishma. So then Yudhishthira was brought by Krishna to Bhishma, and there he got the instruction from the Bhishma about the Raja Dharma, Stri Dharma, Dana Dharma, all this, the final nuances for a king to rule the kingdom. And at the last, he also spoke Vishnu Sahasranam. In good condition only, very difficult for us to remember the 108 names of Krishna. So Bhishma Deva spoke 1008 names of Vishnu. We call it Vishnu Sahasranam, seeing the beautiful form of Krishna. He was so grateful. So, very importantly, we have to understand that amidst all the things in our life, situations or conditions in our life, whether we have lost the job or got the job, or adversities or prosperity, whichever conditions in our life, we have to always think in our mind that amidst all those things, we should always keep thinking about Krishna. That is the third point. So devotees who always think about Krishna through their words, body and mind has the capacity to remember Krishna at the point of death. So this is an example, this is a testimony. Bhishma Deva is a testimony to the fact saying that, see, I am an example that all through my life I was always remembering Krishna. That's why he's called as Mahajana. And he had accepted that role because Krishna wanted him. Because, Krishna also wanted Virya Rasa. We know 5 primary rasas. What are the primary rasas? Starts with Shanta Rasa, Dasya Rasa, Sakya Rasa, Madhura Rasa, Sakya Rasa, Vatsalya Rasa, Madhura Rasa. So every one of us wants to either relate in this rasas. But there are many other tertiary rasas, secondary rasas, like Virya Rasa, Hasya Rasa, Bibhatsa Rasa, Raudra Rasa. So Krishna is the epitome of Rasa Tattva. Radharani is epitome of Prema Tattva. Prabhupada says one place. This is all high philosophy where Rupa Goswami speaks in Vivrata. That the ontological truth of God is only one God. We have only one God. But they have made themselves into two so that we can enjoy. The nature of us is to always, we want to be enjoy. Enjoy with the rasas, as a motherly rasa, fatherly rasa. He's the same man. But he has all the relationships with this rasa. Rasa tattva is important. So, we have to understand at the last moment of our life, we have to remember Krishna. So, Bhishma Dev is showing by his example that despite all the battles of our life, we have to win over the last battle, that's the battle of death, by remembering Krishna. Because we can't remember Krishna at the point of death by our own. It is only possible by the association of devotees. Because you will be in ICU, you will be speaking, you will be lying on the bed with all the pipes going in, coming out, things like that. So basically that environment is so bad, so negative. So when we are put in those situations, how can we really remember Krishna? But devotees coming in, looking at us, put some Narsimha photo, Hare Krishna mantra, Doon Charanamrit, Tilak, things like that, Kantimala. So same thing is happening here. So we want association of devotees. Prabhupada has created the ISKCON for association. So despite what are the differences we may all have, but still Bhishma Dev is showing that basically Bhishma Dev was in the midst of all the greatest ego. The greatest ego, this Duryodhan himself, Duryodhan. He was so egoistic that he didn't want anyone to be in front of him. No equals, no greater. He is everything. So that was, and Dhritarashtra's ego, Shakuni's ego, Drishtadyumna's ego, not Drishtadyumna, sorry, Dushasana's ego, so many egos. Despite all of these egos, Bhishma was still egoless. So similarly, in our association of the devotees in a community where we live in, we have to cook, we have to do activities, we have to do devotional service together. During that process, we have to deal with someone else's ego. During that process, there's a lot of misunderstanding, miscommunication, glitches, ditches, things like that, and we tend to make the devotee lesser in our understanding and put him down and say, I'm better, I will show you this. So many things would come up. So one more important point from Bhishma's point, we have to see that despite all such egos, but still, he was always remembering that I'm servant of Krishna. And I have to do my duty. So this is very important life, that despite all the struggles of our life, that we have to really deal with others' ego, whether senior devotee, junior devotee, big, small, things like that, even among our own devotee community. So we should really work upon ourselves, that let me be under some junior devotee so that my ego will be purified, will be really purified. And I'll have a right kind of ego. Because over the period of time, when we keep going older, there are new people coming in the society, in the community. Obviously, the institution has to give more prominence to those devotees, because they can give more to the society. And we become older, we will be neglected. We will be kept aside. So what else, what we can do? We can do kirtan, we can do bhajan, that's all. Not much, or some class. We'll not be able to do as much big activities, picking up things. So we feel, oh, we have been neglected, we have been put aside, no one is taking, they're not looking at us, we don't have this, we don't have that, status quo, status position, things like that. No. So we have to learn from Bhishma here. Despite all such challenges, they say ego is not master in its own house. Ego is not master in its own house. So ego things would definitely come up. And we start become complacent to the systems and start making offenses to the devotees. And life would go on, but we will not really able to see Krishna at the point of our death. Because the date of birth and date of death is no one knows. We never chose. So when we are going to leave our body, we don't know. So always, see, Bhagavatam is such a thing that we have been made to understand time and again that anytime we may leave this body. But the Maya is so strong that we feel that we are going to leave for long and make arrangements, all the comforts, things like that. So every time you have to contemplate, sit for a while and see, now I'm dead and how many people have come to look at me. I always think about this. The people who appreciate about me and talk about me and things like that, sometimes it so happens we want to keep up that position. Keep up the status. Oh, they are appreciating me, let me be like that. But actually what matters is on the 11th or 12th day after you die, the people who come and really speak about you is what matters. So really you have to work for that, even socially speaking. How many people really come and that have brought a transformation in someone's heart? My actions have inspired someone's life. How many people would really come and look at us? Initially, when there was a marriage ceremony and all, we were all small children, my uncle, mama's marriages and all. What we used to do, they used to make the children sit next to the bride and the groom during reception ceremony. And the people used to come and give all the gift schemes, things like that. And the children used to receive that from the bride or groom, or this side or that side. And on the other side, there should be one accountant. I don't know what you remember or not. This accountant used to what? Accountant in the sense, there will be one person sitting from so-and-so gave this box, this thing. So-and-so gave this thing, other thing. I was really wondering what is happening. Because they said, and I asked my father, why do you keep an account of such things? There's gifts are gifts. No, we have to accordingly give to them when they have their program, when we go to their functions. So we keep account of all those things, but we don't keep account of our own character building, that how many lives we have transformed, their hearts. And really we are inspiration to them. Because over a period of this Krishna conscious activities, we forget to do that. So very important is, the mercy of Vaishnavas, grace of Vaishnavas is very important, so that we can remember Krishna at the point of death. Not that, oh, remember Krishna at the point of death, Antakaranaspati and all those things we talk with something, big things. But the best thing to get the things done is when devotees are around you. They are like magnifying glasses. They're magnifying all our faults and defects, and they purify us. Hey, why did you chant? Why did not come to Mangalarti? Things like that. So best that we are to be, whatever situations we may be there, that we have to always pray to the Radha Damodar that please always keep me in the association of devotees. This is the only prayer we should have. Remaining apart, make my chanting very pure. Let me read Prabhupada books every day, and let me do service, all those things. It's all secondary, I would feel. But always keep me in association of devotees. Let me not trouble any devotees or institution. Please give me such vidya, buddhi, viveka, vinaya. That is a real thing we have to pray to the Lord. And whenever I go to the ashram, I always make one obeisances there and go inside. Thank you, my Lord, I got one more day along with the association of devotees. When I'm going back, always say, my Lord, when I'll be coming back. So always such moods are important, so that ekaki amar nahi para. Harinama Sankirtan. Ekaki amara nahi parabala. So by my own strength, we can't really remember Krishna at the point of our death. So the sloka is underlined in the crucial point that the human form of life is an opportunity to remember Krishna, but the best way of remembering Krishna is only by the grace of the Vaishnavas. So, so we have to very important. So if we displease any Vaishnava, one develops material desires. So that we can see in many aspects, like Sanat Kumaras were displeased by Jaya Vijaya, so they had to have the material desires, material forms. So we should never displease Vaishnava. Or if you felt you have displeased Vaishnava, always in one-to-one, things like that, individually we can ask, Prabhu, you felt bad about me, or how should I improve myself? Even though we are 80 years old or 40, 50 years old in Krishna consciousness, always that should be our mode. Just for Prabhupada, at the end of this, he says, if I offended any Vaishnavas or any devotees, please forgive me. So Prabhupada says when I was in Vrindavan in 1977 during November. So as I said, the experience, so last one I just want to discuss here, so getting short of time. So the last one was the experience in Krishna consciousness. Why the great rishis and munis are going and attending such programs time and again. So this is very much important in life, that we should try to gather such experiences in our life, so that we can really progress in our spiritual life. So any such opportunity is done, some program is done in the temple, some devotees speaking, or some service is available, or some devotees doing something else. So we should be very eager to really get onto that and get those experiences. So what makes us stay in Krishna consciousness is to have more and more and more and more experiences, so that our experiences become very stable and strong, so that our faith becomes very strong. Shraddha, Sahasanga, Bhajana Kriya, Anatta Nivritti, Nishta, Ruchihi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema. If at all, if you want to have more faith on Krishna and Prabhupada in holy name, we should get more and more experiences in the association of devotees. So this is a wonderful verse here, because even during Prabhupada time, you can see how devotees were so, when Prabhupada was here practically, devotees were so enthusiastic that any devotee where Prabhupada used to call them, I hardly remember, have one-on-one, then other devotees used to wait and ask, what did Prabhupada speak? So they used to get to know, or whenever Prabhupada used to write some correspondence or letter to someone else, before that the letter would reach the devotee, the other devotees would just open up and see what Prabhupada has written to him. Or whenever the new book was published, they were so eager when the next edition would come, they should finish the previous book, reading the previous book. They were so eager. So this is very much important, that because in outside world, people don't, recently we had been to Harvard, and people don't like to talk about God. You speak about, because for them, spirituality is about vegetarianism, spirituality is about yoga, that's all. So if you want to talk about God and things like that, I was speaking also some Maheshwari, Panduranga Prabhu is not here. I was shocked to know that, he was there. So in Harvard, that man is the head of Twitter in India. He is doing some 1-year course there. So Panduranga Prabhu went there to bring some books. Meanwhile, I was talking with him, and he was really, really off, because I was talking really something very love of Godhead, Krishna, and all those things. So really Krishna conscious things is making us awake, just like in a dreaming state. You see, there are a lot of miseries which we go under a dreaming state. When we go, many times people will scream, ooh, and all in the dream. Generally, practically, they are suffering in the dream. But if someone wakes up, get up like that, when we wake up, we all completely forget that. So Krishna conscious activities are waking us from that slumber state of Maya. Maya is making us sleep in this material world. So Chaitanya was saying, Jeev jago, Gaurachandra bole. So we should use our intelligence to see the world through the eyes of our scriptures, and bhakti is the practical knowledge where we can experience this world and see what is right, what is wrong, and where we have to draw our line. All those things, such a wonderful opportunity we all have got to be in Krishna consciousness, that we are learning so many things the in and out of our body, the internal and the external nature of this body, how the people react, how this world is all being created, what is the purpose of our life. At least we have all those things, such a wonderful thing, wonderful association. So we should, going forward, we all should strengthen our faith, because we are all in the mood of sense of believing things. One Prabhu was saying, we should not be in the stage of believing things. We should start belonging to the things. So as I always stress this, so we should always belong to this society. This is my house, this is my brothers, this is my sisters, this is my family, this is my people. And obviously when you want to associate with them, irrespective of all the differences which we have. So let's try to gather more experiences living amidst devotees, and make our life more Krishna conscious and advance in Krishna conscious, and dedicate and devote our consciousness more in thinking about Krishna, because whole of Bhagavad Gita was spoken in the war field. But to bring a point that you should always think about Krishna and work. So even amidst all our working schedules, social life, family life, personal life, but always you should try to love devotees, love Krishna, very difficult to love Krishna unless until you every day read Prabhupada books. But just by chanting Hare Krishna, I don't think so you may really get the love for Krishna. But reading Prabhupada books, I would really say that you will definitely start loving him. You become lusty after him, become mad after him. I want Krishna by any means. That's what a lot of stories are there. Prabhupada says that one the sadhu was hearing, one thief was hearing and he went to Vrindavan, things like that. So many stories are there. So if you want to progress furthermore into different levels of bhakti, shraddha to sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya, and all those things, so we have to have more experience in Krishna consciousness. So this is a wonderful opportunity for us today to go through this purport, wherein we saw a lot of personalities, and more importantly, it was written by Srila Prabhupada. He used to refer, when I went to LA, I saw that Prabhupada where he used to refer those books. There's one Bhagavatam where 10 commentaries are there in that Bhagavatam. So every sloka has 10 commentaries. So it is no more in print now. So that is in Sanskrit. So by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commentary, Rupa Goswami's commentaries, Sridhara Swami's commentary. So many commentaries, are 10 commentaries for one sloka. There's a purport, you just imagine how big it would be. So he used to refer those Sanskrit things and used to concise that and make it very suitable for us, where we can really apply those principles in our life. So having said this, not having any questions, if you comments, let me know. Okay, thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.